So you've probably seen the deceptive marketing of low fat, no sugar, no carbs, organic this, keto that, the detox, the cleanse, and a barrage of deceptive marketing that is out there that oftentimes gets us in trouble. These sneaky calories are oftentimes the ones that are responsible for the extra weight that we carry around our waist, and in most cases, in many other places in our body. And so today, I wanted to give you a short but hopefully powerful nugget so that you are avoiding some of the deceptive things that are out there. One of the things that I have become very, very aware of is the fact that things are said in a way, oftentimes, or marketed in a certain way to get a response from us, right? These marketing companies, these fast food companies, they know all the tricks, right? They are very, very persuasive in the way they put things out there. And so I want to make you aware of some of these things. My name is JT Tapias, and this is an idol called food. And in this episode on how Christians can avoid deceptive food marketing, I'm going to show you some steps, some things to think about in regards to commercials, things on the radio, things that you hear. And I want to make you very aware of this because I believe that once you start to pay attention, not so much to the content, but instead to the actual process of what is being said, you will have better tools to deal with the barrage of temptations that are out. I'm not sure if you know this, but tobacco companies are now in the business of food. In the 1980s and 90s, cigarettes were a popular thing. I mean, you probably remember when you would get on an airplane and there were ashtrays, or you could go anywhere and people were smoking everywhere. I believe people now are more aware of how hazardous smoking can be. And for that reason, tobacco companies have realized this is not as profitable as it was in the 80s and 90s. And so they have transitioned to something that is more profitable, something that everyone has to do. And so they have moved into the food industry. In the 1980s, the artist Michael Jackson was paid millions of dollars to appear in a Pepsi commercial. The man never drank Pepsi, but he appeared in this commercial with his Thriller song as he was dancing to the moonwalk. Now, that song in the 80s probably was one of the most popular things that was around. And what Pepsi wanted to do was associate the feeling of well-being and happiness with their product. Well, they were very, very successful, and people actually saw the commercial and went out and drank Pepsi because it made them feel good. It reminded them of Michael Jackson, the music. They felt culturally relevant, and that was in the 80s, but they're still doing it today. And the way they manipulate us, the way they lure us into these things is through colors. These companies have spent millions and millions of dollars figuring out what color combinations actually get us to be hungry. So if you haven't noticed, fast food companies like Burger King, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, all of these companies have one color that is very relevant in their marketing, which is red. Red and yellow are colors that these companies have figured out that make us hungry. Next time you go down your street and you're looking at all these fast food restaurants, notice that every single one of these marketing companies has red and yellow in their logos, in their advertisements. It is insane when you start to see how they have spent so much money in order to really grab us. And so they also do this through words, specific words that they use, how they utilize their words, how they utilize sound, right? If you've seen chip commercials, what actually happens with chips is that when the person does the crunch, they actually up the volume of the actual commercial, because that crunch, and if you've tried chips before, most likely you've done that in your couch while you're watching a movie. There's excitement, there's stimulation going on through the TV. And then you are crunching on that auditory, that stimulation, that auditory stimulation gets anchored into your emotional system. So this is what oftentimes people in our program will ask and say, JT, I just have a craving for something crunchy. And it would always blow my mind because I couldn't associate how something auditory had to do with something gustatory until I realized that these commercials, these companies anchor sounds into our emotions. And so they make us react to that. I don't know about you, but this puts fire in my belly because I don't want to be manipulated. I mean, I want to be able to control my decisions. But the challenging thing is that they put so much money into this that most of our buying decisions are controlled by these bigger companies, unless you become very aware of that and you actually understand what they're doing And once you see it, you're actually entertained by it, but you're not manipulated by it anymore. That's what I hope some of these conversations will do for you, that you will start to see food in a very, very different way. I believe all foods are made by God, and that we are not to demonize food groups, but I do believe, as Solomon says, that we are to operate in season. If we are in a season and where we have extra weight, well, I would ask the question, do you think that that's a time where we should be thinking about food in different terms? If weight is not an issue and you're healthy and you're a person that exercises and you want to indulge here and there, then that's another season, right? And so I don't think foods need to be demonized, and I don't think we need to find a devil under every rock, but I certainly want you guys to be aware of all the deception that is out there in terms of marketing and how they're trying to control your buying decisions. And it becomes very, very simple to make the right options. And I'm not even going to say, hey, go do the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, which is our program, or Keto, Atkins, South Beach, Macro Counting. That is up to you, whatever you decide to do and how you want to create safe boundaries for yourself when it comes to food. But the most simple way that the people of God can actually choose the right food is to choose foods that are made by God, right? Which are very simple, the ones that come from earth, right? Things that are not man-made are made by God. And the things that come in packages, jars, and boxes are made by man. So we can simply make that distinction and say, I'm going to only eat foods, right, that come from the earth, that are created by God, and I'm going to stay away from the man-made foods. Just that little change there will radically, radically change your waistline, how you feel, and you'll start to see food in a very different way, because when you're not spiking a lot of insulin, you actually regain control of your brain. Before that, you're spiking all this dopamine, you're out of control, you have cravings all the time, and it almost feels like an uphill battle. So I hope that this has given you some motivation to start seeing things different, to be able to see when they're manipulating you, and for you to be able to see that and make better decisions. And I kept it as simple as I could in this short little 8-minute video, where I wanted to express the challenge and then hopefully a solution. Instead of going for the man-made food, go for the God-made food. And that is a great place to start. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode on how Christians can avoid deceptive marketing. And more importantly, I hope you put these things to action. My name is JT Tapias. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.